Cue the fireworks. We have some positive news from Fed Chairman next. We have a bunch of good news coming out. I know yesterday I was a little bit Debbie Downer. Today I'm a little bit less Debbie Downer. All next on Real Estate Daily. Welcome everyone. My name is Troy, and every day we go over the latest news in real estate, housing, and the mortgage markets. Now, before we jump in, if you are one of the hundreds and thousands of people sitting on the sidelines waiting to buy a home, but you're very scared of those interest rates, well, do me a favor. Let's go read up on Educate Yourself. Go below, click on the link below, get a buyer's guide and start reading through it. It will make the process a lot easier and a lot less painless. All right, let's jump right into it. Fed Chairman Powell says in his speech, so this speech was after he had come out and said a couple of things that were Debbie Downers. Number one, of course, he did not raise rates, but number two, he said, and he was pretty profound about it, that the committee wanted to raise rates 2 more times this year, even though they didn't see the numbers. We're seeing major cracks in the economy, but they're already projecting 2 more. Doesn't make any sense. But one thing he did say positive. The housing market is putting in a bottom. Well, it only puts in bottom if we can have less volatile rate. So that's what's holding us back is these rates. Now, if he were to go dovish on that speech yesterday or any speeches going forward, it's going to settle the market down. And you're going to see the interest rates float down, and we're going to be in a good situation. Well, only a good situation if, let's cue the next article, if we have inventory. So today on Squawk Box this morning, we saw the head of Realtor.com, Danielle Hale, and this is what she said. We're in a shortage situation in the housing market. Well, this is what we've been talking about all the time. It really is a positive when you're not having a lot of sales. But if we do see rates drop, my Lord, it is going to be a complete madness out there. We're going to see the housing market really shoot up. So we're hoping that something, huge happens here. And what is that huge moment, guys? The huge moment is people who want to move up will feel more comfortable if the interest rates are low enough. They can sell their house, grab all that equity, move up to a bigger house and not have a bigger payment. They can have a parallel payment or a slightly bigger payment. Then we're going to create more houses out there and the inventory will increase. If they're not comfortable with selling their home, then we're just going to have the 2 major home sellers out there. And number one is, of course, we have flippers out there they're flipping homes. But we also have a lot of people who are retiring or they're going to go into a living facility or even death. And then if I go back, I can absolutely say that people are leaving the state. We know for a fact people are leaving the state as we saw the numbers show up in the LA Times saying that California was in 2021 was the biggest state that lost the most people. All right, jump into the next article. Mortgage, now there is projections out there. When are we going to see rates drop? Well, we were hoping that we would have a very good idea of the future here yesterday with the Fed, but we didn't. But this is what's being talked about at Housing Wire. It says mortgage rate relief won't come until the end of 2023, housing economist says. I think that it's going to come the second that the Fed says we are going to pause and foreseeable pauses in the future. And if we see a banking crisis, meaning banks are going to fail. Now we saw major banks fail at the beginning of the year. We're going to probably see banks fail. The mid-sized banks and the regional banks start failing in the next 30 to 60 days. That's going to happen because people continue to take their money out and they're going to put it towards where? The bond market. So the Fed is competing with the banks, and that's one way to take the banks out. You keep 1-year rates high enough where they're going to pull the money out of the bank and they're going to send it off into the bond market. Now, we're starting to see banks become very aggressive and say, hey, I know Chase has contacted me and said, hey, we'll give you 4% rate on a 1-year note. And I'm like, okay, well, if I go to the bond market, I get 1.2 or 5.2%. Why would I ever give it to you? But they're scared for me pulling money out of the out of the bank itself. Never, ever in the 13 or 15 years that we've been involved with Chase has they given a rat's beep about what I had in there and if I made any money, because they were only taking my money and putting it in the bond market and making it themselves. Now they're scared because more people are educated and they're tired of the banking system making all the money off of them and then turn around and fiend them to death. It's a big F you. Let's go on to the next one. Here's what happens when you have cities here in California that are run by the blue team. Okay, we're seeing zombie cities pop up. Downtown LA, zombie. We're seeing San Francisco is becoming a ghost town. Westfield just pulled out of every single location in the United States. Is that crazy? I don't even know how the malls are going to be staying open, especially in downtown. All those high-end places. It doesn't make any sense, right? We're starting to see, we also saw that several different developers have stopped making payments on their industrial as well as retail locations because they're just done with it. If the city isn't going to help them out and the state's not going to help them out, we're just seeing this. This is a nightmare. It says downtown LA zombies, how to fight post-COVID plague of undead office buildings. It has nothing to do with happened to post-COVID. I don't think it has anything to do with it. I think it's not so much people not wanting to go back to work because you have as many employers out there making people go to work. But what we're really having here is that we're losing jobs. And when we're losing jobs, then we're seeing companies consolidate. When they consolidate, they're just walking away from office buildings that they have leases on. Then they say, go get me because I don't have any money and I'm going out of business. All right, let's jump into the rates here. Rates are very flat yesterday. Even though we show mixture here, it's conventional went up, just 2 basis points. FHA went down 2 basis points. Nothing to see here whatsoever. I think that they were inhaling and digesting the whole I'm not going to raise rates, but I'm going to raise rates in the future thing. Very confusing, and they're trying to digest it. We're going to find out more today and on Friday what was really thought about. And Monday is going to be a big day. I think Monday's mortgage market or mortgage rates are going to really give direction on what they think. Now, is the mortgage market going to say, hey, we understand that they actually stopped raising rates and they made these accusations for the future or made these predictions for the future, but they really don't know. And with that being said, that is dovish more than it is hawkish. Or are they going to come back and say, well, they're locking in two more rate hikes, so we need to actually maintain these rates. If we see conforming and FHA fall below 6.5 and 6.4, then we know that the market doesn't believe the Fed, and we'll see rates get better and better as the next FOMC meeting will be at the end of July. Guys, thank you very much for joining me today. I'm happy to give you information. If you like the video, hit the like button. Otherwise, do me a favor, tune in tomorrow, and we will give you some more updated information about the housing market.